the World Bank,
Welcome to Tashkent.
we tell stories about ingenuity, adversity, determination, hope.
I have hope.
About people who strive,
Invierte en mí.
adapt, thrive, dream. The places may be far away, but the people are just like you.
Hello, welcome everybody to the VR Global Summit. This is actually really great to be here again and talk about the World Bank VR program and now what we're doing with diversity and inclusion and learning. This is incredible and actually very lucky for all of us to be here with you, but with this incredible panel that we have here. So I want to present to you Josebe Bilbao-Henry, who is a senior officer for diversity and inclusion at the bank, and she knows a ton of about diversity. So welcome, Josebe. How are you?
Hello, hi, hello everybody.
And then we also have Roxana Bravo, who is the program coordinator for the Interactive Media Services program, aka the VR team at the bank. Welcome, Roxana.
Thank you, Jimmy. Hi, Josebe.
Hi.
Awesome. So so we've been talking a little bit of what the bank has done before, but it's actually great to continue on that trend and talking basically what can we do with VR for good, right, and for impact in these difficult situations and environment that we're at. So potentially we've been using VR for all kinds of things regarding operation support, communications. So you have seen documentaries that we have done in the past, but we're really excited what we can do with learning, I would say. We have started actually launching our new OLC VR app. It's actually available now at the Oculus Go if you want to go and get that, and it's a collection of our recordings and 360 videos and photos that we have done via a few years in operations and communications. But what we're most excited about is what we have done with diversity and inclusion, as we thought that we were always thinking of how can we have impact with VR? How can we actually use this and not to just do films and communication efforts? So learning has been a huge side, and with that I want to give it to Josebe to tell us a little bit more about that side.
Thank you, Jimmy. So the Office of Diversity and Inclusion at the World Bank Group works with the staff from over 170 different countries with many different backgrounds, many diverse backgrounds and experiences. And we work in over 130 different country offices. And in this context, our main focus is on creating a sense of inclusion for everybody, so that if we feel included, everybody has a chance to contribute to the twin goals of the World Bank Group, which are to reduce extreme poverty and to boost shared prosperity. The kind of work that we do at the Diversity and Inclusion Office, to a large extent, focuses again on inclusion. And our learning program is about it's learning for inclusion. It's on the one hand, we focus on exploring unconscious bias, and in this regard, in order to mitigate some of the effects of unconscious bias, or to mitigate unconscious bias, we explore ways to connect and to understand deeply the reality and the different experiences of those who are different from us. So when we are thinking about putting any learning program together, particularly as we were thinking about working in the area of disabilities or on sexual orientation and gender identity, we wanted to find ways to go beyond what you can experience in a typical e-learning model. And before Jimmy goes on with showing you these images, I also wanted to see, Jimmy, can we share a video with just to give people an idea or a taste of what some of the VR products that we were producing, what they look like. Can we show that now or?
Certainly. Here you go.
Okay.
And when we think about inclusion, we're introducing a number of principles.
There's a lot of things going on these days.
Really glad that you took some time to care for yourself and your health.
Hey, what's up? Good, how are you? I'm so excited to be back to work full time.
It's good to have you back and feeling like yourself again.
Hopefully, this will bring more inclusion to our daily lives.
Welcome to Picture Yourself Included.
So one of the questions that we had when we started thinking about putting together a VR experience on sexual orientation and gender identity on disabilities, and in this video you get a sense of a little bit of a taste of what it looked like. We were thinking that we wanted to make sure that it was an experience that fostered empathy. So it was a little bit what we had already been reading about, these machines for empathy. And we wanted this VR to be an experience that where staff from many different backgrounds were able to feel empathy for those who have different ways, different experiences, and who have different identities. So in thinking about that project, we knew for sure that we didn't want it to be kind of the usual click and learn experience. And we also knew that the uptake of such programs across the World Bank Group was not very high. We wanted to actually reach more people. We wanted to reach at least 4 times the amount of people that we would have in a typical e-learning program. So from on average might be about 100 users per year for any particular product. We wanted to make a really 400 or even reach 500 staff just from the get-go. But we also wanted to make that experience very meaningful. So to tell you more about what was involved in that experience, Roxana will be able to tell you more about how it all came about and what was part of the design. Over to you, Roxana.
Thank you, Josebe. So to talk about how we started thinking about the idea of creating an experience for people to learn about being inclusive and to people to learn how to approach to these topics, we also first of all, we read and we look for other experiences that were out there already. We read a lot of papers from the Stanford University, from the Virtual Human Interaction Lab, and also read books, or we went to other companies in terms of researching what other have been done. But basically, after going through all that process and understanding how the bank works, and not only the aspects of diversity on gender identity, but also the aspects of diversity in terms of cultural and the wide broad of aspects that the band has, we decided to go in a kind of different direction in terms of how to approach the topic. So we base, let's say, the script of experience or the producing of this experience in previous work from the Diversity and Inclusion Office and their understanding about our specific institution, our specific staff. So what I'm trying to say that is, it's not like we came out with this solution and it may work for everybody, but this is the solution that we found for our organization and it worked for us. And it's very important for everybody to kind of understand that each audience or each group may have different needs in terms of how to approach to the production of an VR experience that it tackles or it tries to attack some areas that they're related with the work environment, because people with disabilities or people with different abilities, let's say, they may experience different kind of experiences outside, at their homes, in the street, or in different scenarios. So we try to just tackle the experiences that they have at the work space, because we can let's say with one learning tool we cannot get on top of everything that person personally can experience, but at least we cover mostly the areas that most of the staff experience within the work environment. So having them being part of this experience, I think it was key. So having all the people that work on this project were volunteers, and these volunteers were actually staff from the Urban Group. And they were kind of playing roles in these scenarios that we created, that they were true to their identity or they were true to their conditions. So I think that brings kind of a sense of being authentic, and also it creates some kind of connection with the audience that was watching or experiencing the scenarios, because you kind of knew the people that were kind of in those roles, and also we asked them to be in part of the deployment of the event. So also we create kind of a sense of community for them to help the user handling the headsets, or walk them around the space. So it was a great experience in terms of how to integrate the people that were affected or targeted, and also the rest of the people that needed to learn about or different conditions or different gender identities, or somebody that is different from you, and and you need to kind of create a bridge or create a safe space for you to understand how everything can be connected, and we all can be together, and we all can learn from each other. So it was a space for conversation. It was not only like the training experience, it was not tailored like a training per se, but most we weren't judging people, and we weren't kind of scoring people and how they were doing inside of the experience, but mostly it was like a showing them experiences from other staff. So that's one side of the whole side.
I seen you how this process was being done, essentially, like the conceptual side, and the fact that we got buy-in from all the different areas of the World Bank Group, which is extensive, and how delicate the subject is, and how to me it was incredible to see how we got the buy-in of the volunteers, people that want to actually to participate and put themselves out there and creating that sense of community. But as we go through that, I do remember that point where we had to decide if we were going to be doing this with or without embodiment, right? If we're going to be putting the audience or the person doing the course in feeling how, if they had a disability, or in the case of the sexual orientation and gender identity course, if they were going to be in those positions. So can you walk us a little bit through, either Josebe or Roxana, on how the decision was made, and a few of the considerations for that?
Roxana?
Yes, so embodiment, I think, is very powerful and is very interesting to explore, and also it's very risky. We have an audience of, most of the people that works at the World Bank. Imagine there are, economists, or they work in combating poverty in different countries. There are maybe experts on different areas, but they, we are used to technology, and we may experience embodiment, like a playful thing, and we want to separate, let's say, all the gaming side and all the kind of fake or cartoonish part of an experience from a real kind of or trying to mimic a very authentic and realistic experience. So one thing that we decided was to go with not embodiment in one of the experiences, because also we didn't want to feel that people, okay, I am different now, so, and then when I take the headset off, then I myself again, which is different from the role that I play inside of the headset. So we want people to reflect on what they can do in terms of action, even though they are themselves. So it's not because I have a different skin color inside of the headset, it means that I will behave differently outside of the headset, because that my position will change as soon as I take the headset off. So the idea was, no, the user need to be themselves inside of the headset. The user need to understand what they can do from their own position in a realistic way. So that was one part. For the disabilities experience that we create, we decided to go with what we call a soft embodiment, which is not a full representation of your body in a different way, but creating some or certain uncomfortable way of you behave inside of the experience, so you can see how it feels to be in a different level. For example, for people that's using wheelchairs, they are always lower in on a lower height, or for example, people that have a visual condition, how it is to experience that issue all the time, or if you have a problem with hearing, or actually also we try to recreate an invisible disability, what is more complex in terms of when we're using multimedia or audio visuals, but we try to create that enhancing sound and other aspects of the experience. And I think we have also a clip to showcase a little bit of what we did with disabilities and the embodiment part. I don't know if you want to show it now, Jim.
Let's show it.
To people with disabilities and even change the policies in the future. Okay. Different scenarios require better solutions. People work with...
I had to wait until I got back to the office to use the restroom.
Discuss with you the situation with Safi and her not being able to attend the meetings with the client. It's not sustainable.
Oh, sorry, let me help you get some space at the table.
Awesome.
So we didn't show people like or feel the staff make the staff feel like they were in a different body, but actually I think showcasing this kind of soft embodiment, it helps them to understand a little bit what other people feel. And even though I was involved in the production, on the script part, and the post-production and all the time, even though when I put the headset on to kind of review the scenes, anyway, it was impactful, and it creates a sense of being there, and it was very emotional. So I think it was effective.
If I might add, I think that was the thinking about putting together those those stories in which the user is fully immersed. It was very important to balance the authenticity of those experiences. So they should feel real. They should feel that these are real situations where each one of us at the World Bank Group could be immersed, and we could either be a bystander or even, on the receiving end. And to make those experiences really bring home to the learner what does it feel like to be immersed there. But on the other hand, we're also moving away from the full embodiment experience. We know, particularly with respect to disabilities, there is some research that shows that a full embodiment might even bring about less empathy and perhaps cause a negative effect. So keeping that in mind, we try to keep a very light touch. On the other hand, in our consultation and putting together the scripts, we work with several stakeholders and many colleagues and volunteers across the World Bank Group who were giving us real case scenarios, real life scenarios, and who were also very keen on saying people immersed in that VR experience should feel like what it is like either to be a witness or either to be on the receiving end, which didn't really require, from everybody's perspective, a full embodiment.
Absolutely. And also, I have to say that we didn't do this alone, that we had a very strong production team as well, including our partners from Vision, by the way. So big kudos to them. They've been doing incredible work. And so getting not only the script and the buy-in from everybody in the community, but actually the technical side of things, it's super important, we think. And here, this is a nice photo showing of how we got the little robot that became part of the crew when we were shooting the disabilities one. And we actually got, actually, I'm going to show a nice clip here, if I get to that, of how we were having fun doing the production. So basically, placing an Insta Pro camera on top of a little robot and then playing around. And then we actually did a few of the scenes with the embodiment for the wheelchairs, and also being respectful for that, and actually true to the feeling was a challenge, and continued to be a challenge even on post-production, talking about VR here and how you may feel dizzy even when you're actually, the camera is moving, right? So this is as cool as you can do in terms of VR production, but at the end of the day, will it actually work? And we're still actually debating, how to take the user through that experience. So, but the experiments work. There you go, voila. And there's different ways to approach it, and we learn a ton on that end as we go through. So kudos to the team if we can on that side. So I do have another question, right? So when this started, the idea was to bring more audience to these courses, Josebe, and this is our second one because we did the sexual orientation one. Can you tell us a little bit about the results after 1 year of deploying that course?
So I can tell you, even in the first 7 months of rolling out the first module that we produced, the one on sexual orientation and gender identity, we had close to 500 users, and that means that we had far exceeded the annual average of uptake of e-learning courses. And rolling this out meant not only holding a big event or a couple of big events in our main office at headquarters, but also sending headsets to many country offices. And as of last count, I think that the headsets had been in over 20 country offices before COVID hit. I think it had been in over 20 country offices, with many people participating and going through the experience. This was something unheard of, not only in terms of how much interest there was in receiving the headsets and setting up the experience, but also how much interest there was in each office for each one of the staff to really experience, to put on the headsets and go through it. So that was an incredible realization that our intuition in putting this, our initial intuition in going the VR way was right. Of course, we did a lot of consultation across the institution to learn about what would it take to do the rollout, but definitely their experience confirmed that initial thinking.
Awesome. And then Roxana, if you want to talk a little bit on what we discussed in terms of the installation, right? Because the other thing that we did for these events was also to be true to the experience and replicate a little bit of this environment. So what came through that process?
Yeah, so like many people, we believe that having a user experience that is not only inside the headset, but outside on the side as well is as important as the experience that you have inside. So what we went through is like a replicating the 3D lobby or the 3D scenario that it was created inside of the experience, and we using printing and gathering furniture around, we kind of replicate that space that you encounter inside of the headset when you put it on. So, and also, as I said before, the people that was gathering you and walking you through the space, it were the same volunteers, actors that were inside of the experience. So everything was cohesive in that way. Also, it was a sense of intimacy in this space and a sense of connection, because we create kind of a lobby when people was relaxing. And one thing that is surprised us a lot, it was that we create some instructions for how to navigate the experience. So people didn't need for us to help them out on how to use the controller and how to go one by one through the scenarios or how to go through the whole experience. And they were so enjoying themselves, being so relaxed. They went through an experience that is between 35 minutes and 40 minutes. No problem. Nobody have questions. It was, very unusual for people that, maybe they never have a VR experience before. So this was very rewarding, understanding that what we create was effective, not only on the message, but as well on the technology part. So, you can see on the pictures that they are like, not having the coffee because they are with the headset, but, with the hot coffee on the side and on the same mood. And for the disability experience, we couldn't launch it yet because of COVID. We couldn't, have this installation. But what is very exciting, it is the way that we create or we prepare the experience to be accessible to everybody. So we create 4 different levels of accessibility, which, we never hear before, to have an experience and an Oculus Go with all these options. So we have an accommodation for people that have issues with hearing, and also we have an accommodation for people that have mobility problems, or we have also an experience for people that have visual. So we enhance the experience with subtitles, with high contrast, also with audio features. I don't know, Josebe, if you want to add something to that, but I think it is very interesting, or will be very interesting to see the outcome on how people receive this one.
Yeah, I think that's, I think it's one of the first of a VR product that includes different accessibility modes for different specific needs, which actually reinforces the message that we wanted to send with the whole module on disabilities, that it's not a matter of the person who might have or might not have a disability, but it's really the environment and the context and the physical setting that really makes us feel included or excluded in some instances. But I also wanted to emphasize another thing that Roxana was mentioning, is how that communal experience of learning with others or experiencing something that in VR feels very intimate. You're immersed in those situations. You feel that you're going through it almost alone as you're, but sitting next to other people, and not only that, having a chance to reflect on that experience of taking time to really think about what you have just witnessed, what you have reacted to, is very important. So for us, it was the deployment and the rollout is not only about putting on a headset and going through experience that is still very meaningful and really connects with what the reality of staff with different backgrounds and identities working at the World Bank is like, but it's about connecting with others, learning together with us, and taking that learning and that potential greater empathy to the next level. So I think that was our thinking in putting this VR, and this is exactly where we see a lot of potential as a learning tool. One interesting interesting feedback that we're getting from users. We're not prompting them about that this is a learning experience, but every time someone takes the headset off, they go, wow, I hope all learning were like this. We're not even telling them you're going to learn about anything. We tell them you're going to experience, you're going to learn about your colleagues, you're going to connect with them, and they get out of that experience thinking, I wish all learning were like this.
Amen to that, I would say. So, and as you were talking, I mean, reflecting on, what did we really learn, right, from this experience so far, and continuing on, and from the audience that is, more tech savvy and VR centric, developers, script writers, companies that want to try to use VR for their own enterprise and for good or for any use on training. Something we learned, honestly, is that VR is not all, like you said, and finding the partnerships within their own organizations, or even if you are providing this to companies, that it's no longer to talk to the IT person or to see who's going to provide the headsets and then record the videos. It's that finding the right partners, it's key to everything. And don't think that you will actually learn or know everything, in this case, about diversity and inclusion, or it can be about running any equipment, or it's that if you bring the core value and the real content into the experience, then you're going to have a really strong product. Otherwise, it will be just a flat experience and you'll be just doing it for the gimmicky side of the VR. And that's my personal message. And I wanted to ask both Roxana and Josebe if you can say quickly on, if you think about anything that you would have changed or anything that you learned through these 2 years, basically, of us doing DNI VR learning.
I want to add to that, though, you were saying, Jimmy, that all the scenarios that we kind of recreate, they were inspiring on true stories. So we, partnered with the people at the bank that they were members of, one of our groups that kind of empower, let's say, LGBTQ plus people, or the group that empowers people with disabilities. So we went to them to ask them, what bothers you most, or what is something that you would like to see different happening within the work environment, or what is something that you can share with us that you experienced. So we kind of used real stories to show, things that real happening to people in the workplace. So it's not like we are simulating something from outside. So I think of being true to your own organization, company, or the organization that you're working to. So understanding, what are the issues, and going to the people and understanding, what they need. It is key to, to make it successful.
Yes, I would add that even the Diversity and Inclusion Office didn't have all the answers. And I think that what really helped us all collectively is to ask. We asked the employee business resource groups that Roxana was talking about for their own input about what it feels like to work at the World Bank Group with a specific, in a specific type of situation. So we ask. The other thing that we learned was that avatars didn't work for us. It had to be real people, and beyond real people, not even actors. So one of the things that we learned, and I think that not only we wouldn't change it, but we would keep doing more of this, is to work with staff volunteers who appear as themselves, because ultimately the work that we do in diversity and inclusion is connecting with a real person. And VR was creating that, was giving us that opportunity to connect with a real person, with a real colleague, with real situations, so that you could actually not just click and move through an e-learning product, but actually be there, be present, and feel it.
Beautiful. Yeah, I want to close with that. Please don't say anything else, because that was beautiful and true to that. So I want to thank you both for being here with me and teaching and teaching me everything you know about VR and about diversity and inclusion. And hope we can do a few Q&As and hear from the audience. And we're really available online. Get us on LinkedIn or Twitter, and we would love to help you and connect with you. And I know there's a lot of people trying to do diversity and inclusion learning or any type of learning with VR, and we would really like to engage and see how we can contribute to this great community that we have.
Thank you.